with the lead. They're getting a little wobbly.
Robbie Ryan for three. She hits it, and we are tied.
Terry's three. It's good. Johnny Walker matching up against control. His shot. Bruce score. They score. They tie the game up 2-2. Some drives out for Robbie Ryan. Her three right on the money. This is Thea Hansen for three. Other side of the rim with a pretty reverse.
Wow.
5 seconds to go. Find Hawk. Hawk spins. It rolls off. And Arizona State wins it. Edward pulls off. And buries the front.
Daniels takes the shot for Kirby.
Welcome into Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, I am Michael Caratino at Diablo00 on X, the artist formerly known as Twitter. And you can check out this phenomenal show there. And on my IG, michael.caratino.5. Also, Pitchfork Lunchers. Yes, it is that time of day. Subscribe to the YouTube channel is all I can tell you. Subscribe, because you've missed a ton of interviews, getting to know players, getting to know a lot of people. And you can go to the YouTube channel, subscribe, and guess what? Catch up on all the interviews. Again, coaches, players, insiders, voice. Just, and we'll have working on, obviously, Super Bowl coming up, but Sun Devil's coming on. Sun Devil in the Super Bowl. Brandon Ayuk forks up all day. Again, it was his catch. Obviously, I touched on a teeny bit yesterday, but his catch, many thought it would be an interception, and it literally goes off the helmet of the Lions defender, which I know many of you have seen, but it goes off the Lions defender, off his helmet, and Ayuk just snatches it, dives through the air, snatches it out of the air, and then on the next play catches the touchdown. So again, and Chase Lucas, oh man, the play on special teams, his foot just again slipped in. It would have been the Niners ball at the 1 yard line, and again, just not that they couldn't have gotten out of it, but Chase Lucas there too. So it's just two Sun Devils. So phenomenal season, obviously, by the Lions. Nice to see, obviously, Chase Lucas out there making plays for the team. But Brandon Ayuk headed to the Super Bowl. Former Sun Devil that won a few Super Bowls, Darren Woodson. So it's great to have a Sun Devil, obviously, back there representing the maroon and gold. So yeah, that is just, again, very awesome to see. And we'll have a little bit of time to talk about that, but it is great to always see Sun Devils at that level. There's been quite a few Sun Devils. Sorry, just off the top of my head, trying to think. Quite a few Sun Devils that have won, played in Super Bowls, won Super Bowls. So, yeah, you know what? And before the Super Bowl, I will have a list of Devils that have played in and also won. Um, um, I'll have a list though. Um, of players again that have played in the Super Bowl and won the Super Bowl as well. So from ASU, because there's been a few there. But that being said, also with that coming, reached out to a few Sun Devil alum because, as we know, in Arizona, the Waste Management Phoenix Open is going to be here, and yes, it is the. It remains the biggest party on grass. I've always joked around that most people could not tell you what happened in the golf. They see people playing golf, but yeah, they see people playing golf. But yeah, there's been obviously. Oh, by the way, the schedule for football is out. So I will put that up here. We'll talk about that. So the schedule for football for next season is out. I will put that up, and you can see where the new conference away games will be. Yes, in the Big 12. It still feels like salt in the wound, but you guys know me. Onward and upward, right? It is a fact. It is happening. But I have appreciated my conversation with Willie Bloomquist about this, and even the players we saw Jacob Tobias yesterday. If you missed yesterday's show, again, went out to baseball. Got to talk to a lot of the players, but returner Jacob Tobias and Isaiah Jackson both on. You can go and check that out. But yeah, just talking about obviously every school wants to win, but to bring home a Pac-12 title the last year of it, and to win the regular season title. I'm not saying just the Pac-12 tournament's only 4 years old, 3, something like that, whatever. But nonetheless, but to win the regular season, to win the Pac-12 outright, and I mean, if you could do the double, win the Pac-12, and then win the Pac-12 tournament, but players talking about it would be huge, and that would be very huge, obviously, to win the Pac-12 tournament, baseball wise. So, but I mean, but to win the regular season title, to win it outright, and it's been a minute since obviously it's happened in Tempe, but look, this is a team that can do it, man. Being out there, and again, just being out there a little bit in the fall, minus the Halloween costume party, which was absolutely awesome. I don't know if Coach Bloomquist can do it in the middle of the season, just have maybe some theme. Do that. No, that would probably be tough to do. Yeah, that would be obviously very, very awesome to do. So, but that being said, it's going to be a little bit of work. But man, offensively, I mean, what this team can be, knock on wood, and you stay healthy, and you'll hear ask some of the players about Coach filling out the lineup card, and there's definitely some bats there. Yes, there's young arms, and we know this from obviously what happened in the draft and transfer portal, but there are guys that and a huge amount of it in the draft. But baseball, I mean, yeah, this spring is going to be huge, obviously, and softball too. With what they have coming back, and I can't wait to dive more into softball as well. But yeah, no, it's one of those things where when we look at it, baseball wise, like, yes, we'll see how, and there's a few a few veteran arms, but just a ton of just young, awesome freshman arms on the baseball team. So to me, that is obviously very huge because when you look at what baseball has done and what Willie Bloomquist's been able to do, and yes, even with the transport, but like I said, a ton of new guys that came in. But a good mix of returners that understand it, that understand the obviously culture that Coach Bloomquist has laid down, and him being an alum and being part of it, absolutely huge. So I look forward to it. I definitely look forward to it. And but yeah, we'll hear from some more baseball players today as well. Also, we'll hear a little bit of hoops. Obviously, Coach Adair and the women's Natasha Adair and the women's team split with the Bay Area schools over the weekend. Now they look ahead to that team down south, who they definitely owe a little bit of payback to, and they both took tough losses at the hands of Stanford. In which you got to catch up with Tara Vonderveer after that game. And again, just hearing her explanation of it is just, obviously getting back on the court after after beating ASU, but after becoming the all-time winningest coach and adding 2 more victories to that now. After beating ASU and that team down south, both by 30 points. Cameron Brink was Pac-12 Player of the Week, had 16 boards, double-doubles in both games, had 16 boards against ASU and then 19 against Arizona. Cameron Brink, again, just the real deal. But ASU, looking forward to, again, avenging that loss to that team down south. And as we look at the standings in women's hoops in the Pac-12, again, Stanford still up top. They are 8-1. Colorado is 7-2. Oregon State 6-3. UCLA 5-3. Utah 5-4. USC, Washington State are 4-4. Washington is 3-5. Cal and that team down south 2-6. And both the Ducks and the Devils are 2-7 overall. So again, the Devils trying to climb out of that the cellar, but playing Arizona on Sunday in Tucson. Well, if they win, they would both have the same conference record. They would have split, and they'll both be. This is crazy. With an Arizona State win, which it should be, both teams will be 3-7 in conference play. Both teams will be 11-11 overall. That is, that's pseudo Twilight Zone-ish, but nonetheless, the 2 state schools there trying to see what they can do. But yeah, you beat Cal, and now you have Arizona. Have a few days off, get fresh, get ready, and we're aiming to again speak with one of the players who has entered the record books for the Devils, and also had a parent that played another sport at ASU. So aiming to have her on tomorrow. Again, you'll just have to see. That's tease. But yeah, and on the men's side, look, those 2 losses up in Oregon, and talked about the Oregon State win yesterday and the Oregon one Friday. The Devils are now 5-4 in conference play, but you have Arizona and Oregon up top at 6-3. Arizona did beat Oregon. They lost to Oregon State, but they turned around and beat Oregon. But they did fall 2 spots in the rankings. They are now number 11. But Arizona and Oregon are 6-3. Colorado and Washington State are 6-4. Both ASU and Stanford are 5-4. And then Utah's 5-5. UCLA and Cal are both 4-5. Washington is 4-6. Oregon State is 3-6. And then the Trojans 2-7 in conference play, and they did lose their Battle of LA to UCLA 65-50 this last week. So there was the only game each school had. But so that's where the men's standings are at in the conference for hoops. And man, I tell you what, it is ASU's in a tough in a challenging spot. I won't say completely tough, but just challenging right now, because you have Cal and Stanford coming up, who you have beaten, or Stanford and Cal coming up. Yeah, they're going to be on Thursday. It's on ESPN2. But they have Stanford first and then Cal on Saturday. But you're in a predicament there. I mean, you already beat those 2 schools twice, and you need to do it again. To jump to 7-4 in conference play, and then you'd be 13-9 overall. But 2 wins, and they've been solid at home. And look, you just need to shake it off, because the first half against Oregon State was tough, and then Again, the 29 fouls, the 49 free throw attempts. I mean, ASU doesn't get that kind of treatment at home. And like I said, there was quite a few of them I saw. Yes, there were fouls. There were other ones. I'm like, you have got to be absolutely kidding me. And look, I know a lot of you know that I say it drives me nuts when I've called games or I'm listening to games and they say, well, I mean, there wasn't that much contact. There was very little contact. Okay. You're saying that there is contact and it could have affected it, right? So to me, that gets frustrating. But there was quite a few foul calls that I was like, you have got to be outside your mind. And both I know what was it, Sean Phillips Jr. fouled out. And then but he had 13 points in 13 minutes. Also picked up 5 fouls in 13 minutes and fouled out. But still, that's man, that is a heck of a game. And I think Alonzo Gaffney fouled out as well. But yeah, I mean, that is a huge discrepancy. Again, subjective. You can't just sit there and harp all over it. People are going to be like, blah, blah, blah is all they hear. Like Charlie Brown's teacher talking, wah, 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 right? But come on. I mean, that much of a discrepancy. I just find that very, very hard that one team's fouling all that much and the other team is not, especially in basketball. And if you're calling it consistent both ways, just throwing that out there. So, yeah, we'll dive into that matchup a little bit more. But also, like I said, on the women's side, we'll hear from Coach Adair post game and from Sunday, and just talking about what that win against Cal meant, how the team's playing, and we'll meet some, like I said, some more players from this baseball team, again, looking to bring home a Pac-12 championship, plus the football schedule is out. So I will put that up as well. You'll be able to see it. So I'm going to step aside real quick, though. We'll jump into all that on the other side. So glad you joined us here, the Century Club, the 100th episode here of Pitchfork Lunch. I will step aside. We'll have more coming up on the other side. Welcome back into Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, I am Michael Caratino at Diablo00 on X, the artist formerly known as Twitter. You know this. And you know this, and you can follow me there. See the show. Also, the IG Michael.Caratinudo.5. And YouTube, you all subscribe to my YouTube channels at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Cat 005 at MVC005 on YouTube. Subscribe. As we move forward on there again, anything you've missed, all the shows are on there. The Century Club now of shows. Are on there. So you can definitely. Oops. You can again any show you've missed, anything you've missed here from Pitchfork Lunch, you can go back, you catch up on the interviews. Again, we met the Sweet 16 volleyball team this year, got back there for the first time in a very long time. The Pac-12 Coach of the Year in his first season, being the head coach at ASU, JJ Van Neal. Lucky enough to have him on twice, and lucky enough to have him on twice. And again, players that we've met, obviously some will be gone, some will be back. Transfer portal wise, have added a few. We've talked about it. Get more into that in the spring as well. But man, just so much going on. Golf, obviously. I mean, I mentioned the Waste Management Phoenix Open, but golf, obviously, men's and women's, just absolutely crushing it to start off their seasons. Granted, they did play in the fall. They have a fall schedule, but obviously not as heavy as the spring. So, but still looking forward to catching up with them, and wrestling, of course, too. Can't forget about phenomenal wrestling at ASU, water polo as well, swimming. Unfortunately, they don't have any more home meets, but yeah, they have. They're doing one heck of a job there. So, yeah. So again, just a ton to get to. So subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Cat 005 on YouTube, and subscribe away. All the shows are there. Watch them, like them, share them, or subscribe to the YouTube channel, and you can also check it out live because it goes out live on the So yeah. So again, subscribe to the YouTube. Again, they're all there, and it is very, very awesome, to say the least. But as we look again, and just so, but yeah. So going forward, again, subscribe at MVC005 on YouTube. All the goods are there. Yes, I will have more coaches and players on. Yes, that is true. But you got to subscribe to it, and then you can get all caught up. And we hit the Century Club today, so happy 100th episode, right? So yeah, so shifting gears to women's hoops again after the Cal win again, which the team was up the whole time. Cal did make some runs, but they answered, and with the injuries, most of these players, pretty much all of them play. Well, yeah, all of them play the whole second half. But post game, Journey Thompson, Jalen Brown, and Izzy Sousa joined Coach Natasha Adair, and we're talking about it. And man, I tell you what, they are. The coach she talks about it in her opening statement. What has happened, for them, and yes, they're banged up, but how the team is growing. And yeah, so we will hear a little bit from Coach Adair, as. But I wanted to definitely wrap it up as, again, the team, they said, gets that 6 to 71 victory over Cal. And after that tough 30-point loss to Stanford to control the game the whole time. And yes, I mean, but we know that Cal's going to chuck threes. And so, yeah. But without further ado, here is Coach Adair post-game after the victory over Cal.
From start to finish, so proud of this group. I mean, we talked about it, and we talked about this team is growing, the chemistry is building, just a new group, just learning one another. Today, 5 players in double figures. So proud of the group, but that's not a surprise to the 3 sitting here with me, because this is what they work on every day. Scout was to a T. They followed it to a T. We knew that Cal coming in, 45% of their shots were threes. And so defending the 3 ball was going to be key. And the versatility of our team, we have players, Journey can switch she can guard 1 through 4. So in some of those screens and some of those actions, it wasn't uncommon for her to be on a guard, but we took them out of that. And that was our defensive plan. Sure, they went on the run. We had to have a nice conversation at the start of the third, and they responded. And I just thought, at winning time, you saw it in their eyes. It was get a stop. 3 stops to finish the game. Rebounding to finish the game. And big time free throws to finish the game. So 40 minutes of team, 40 minutes of grit and toughness. Those were the 2 words on the board today. This game is going to take toughness and grit. And I thought that was on display from these wonderful ladies and their teammates for 40 minutes today.
But Coach, how good is it for the Sun Devils to get the 10th victory of the season in front of the fans in a close game after having a productive game by having 5 players go in double figures?
Well, I think this is what we're working towards, right? So this is the goal. Every time we get out on the court, the goal is to win. But for us, we talk about improvement. How are we getting better, right? Do we learn from the last game? Do we apply it to the next game? And for us, it doesn't matter who it is. That's the beauty. When we started the season, we said we have enough around the circle. Right? Through all of what has transpired, we still have enough around the circle. So it's next person up. And what you saw today was just beautiful basketball. They shared the ball. They played together on defense. They celebrated one another. So the expectation is to always win. And for us is to keep getting better. And I thought we did today.
Izzy, what got into you? 4 from 3, a career high from long range, and your defense as well. What was your mindset going into this game?
My mindset is just for us to stay together and win the game. I think that my teammates, the coaching staff, they gave us confidence, not just for me, but I think for everybody. They say green light. So we gotta trust ourselves and just be confident when we shoot the ball.
And Izzy has a neon green light. Hers is neon.
Journey, I haven't seen you play this well, a complete game offensively and defensively rebounding since the win against Fresno State in early December. What's different about you? Because You had a career-high 13 rebounds against Stanford, who just hogs everything off the glass. And then today, a beautiful game on both ends of the floor.
I think a lot for me, I focus on defense first and then let my offense come.
Oh yeah, because when they brought that ball down, you said, thank you very much, man. Thank you.
Yeah, but for offense, it's easier to get my shots up and get points up when I know I have my team backing me up. If I miss a shot, they're the first ones to be like, you're good, you know, we all know you can make that. Like, you don't have to worry about taking it again, we've got you. So I think that's where confidence in offense comes from, because I know that my teammates, they got my back and I can take that shot again.
Keep it going, it's beautiful to see.
Thank you.
Jalen, for you, your second quarter, huge, 8 points. Like Cal was trying to make a run and you're like, not today, not today. You had a rough shooting night against Stanford. That's understandable. They're a great defensive team. How did you shift your mindset to get right to help your team win today and lead them in scoring?
I just understand that it's a new game, new day. Coming into the game, you can't worry about your last game. I know I can make the shots that I shoot, so I'm going to keep shooting them. But like Journey said, when you have teammates that find you, when you have teammates that you know, like if you do miss the shot, they're going to have your back at the end of the day. I think that just motivates me even more, and I understand when my team needs a bucket. I understand when we need a bucket collectively, so I wasn't going to let Kyle come back, and that's just what my job was to do in that moment.
Okay, I need to know of the three of you, who has the best impersonation of Coach Adair losing her mind when Cal made a run in the second quarter and called that timeout? We were talking about a telecast. She's literally playing defense on the sideline with you, like this, and then timeout. So who could step up and give me the impersonation?
Izzy.
I don't know, I feel shy right now. But I would say that it worked. You know, she got us back in the game and we responded well, like she mentioned. So if she has to do that for us to be in the game, let her do it, right?
There we go. There we go.
I love it.
Good answer.
I did want to ask you guys, the starters had to play lots of minutes and the bench only played 5 minutes. You said you're tired, I get it. But what's that like? I mean, on the plus side, you know, you're into it the whole game, and then obviously the fatigue. How do you balance that? For any of you, yeah.
Getting in shape is something that we started in the summertime. I think we've been preparing for it. So when we are put in those positions, it's not very much different. Like, you are tired, but you understand you got a game to win. So you can't cave into fatigue in those moments. You just have to understand what you are here to do. So I think most of us, we're pretty used to it. Yeah, by now, kinda, yeah.
For me, I think, sorry, I think it's a little different because I've been battling injuries. So for me to match up with their shape, it's like I'm a little farther behind. But I think what got us is that we know we have each other's back. So like when I'm tired, they know. So what they step up to help, or Easy or whoever is it in the position, we need to step up for them. So I think it's just the point of having each other's back that help us and be mentally ready for the game. You know, fatigue, everybody's gonna be, but it's about the mental, how you prepare yourself to respond to that.
I think your team can help activate you. You'll be dog tired trying to get a defensive stop, and then you hear them cheering you on from behind from the bench, talking about something. Great stop, you got it, and you feel like you got a little more to give for them.
And those are things that we track. Like before the game, we talk about, let's get 6 deflections. You know, let's take so many charges. And so once we get them, we start counting them out from the bench. So that's what Journey's talking about. You can hear the team cheering you on, counting. Right, and we even talked about it at halftime where they made a run and it was a little bit of that fatigue. We showed it to them, this is what's going on, and they respond when they see it. They know, I mean, everyone gets to that point because they're playing to the max, right? The motto is max out. But I love the fact that when you talk to the players, you bring what we need to discuss, and then they respond. Because at the end of the day, everyone's working together for the win.
And Coach, on those Cal runs, I mean, you talk when Cal went on those runs, but it just seemed like the end of their runs is either like when Izzy or Jaden like just said no more outside, like just go straight to the hoop. I mean, was that kind of your message to stop those runs, because they both had like key drives at certain points?
It must have been in the huddle because it was play downhill, right? Play downhill, because again, we can bring them out in a high ball screen and then attack their bigs, put foul pressure on or go all the way. And so that was designed for us to do that to stop the runs. Yes.
Did you feel like because you didn't have people in foul trouble, I'm happy with the way these five are playing, I'm just gonna go with it?
Well, it was the momentum of the game. You know, they were warm. It was hard because every possession mattered. So you didn't want to put anyone cold in the game for a defensive stop or even for a shot. So I just thought the rhythm, to your point, was right, and I just didn't want to interrupt the rhythm.
Coach, you mentioned being aggressive and getting downhill. It seemed like early on you guys were really the aggressors. Was that a point of emphasis coming into today?
We have phenomenal guard play, and our guards can turn the corner on anyone in this league and get downhill. And that was for sure something we talked about, something we worked on, playing out of ball screens, our ball screen attack, our ball screen offense, where we open the floor and run our 5-out or our 4-out spread offense. So it was definitely just one of our focal points for tonight.
Journey, you were talking about your defense, and you made two really big defensive plays in the closing part of the game. Can you just talk about those and just being able to execute in that situation?
Well, I think, if I think of the first one, I think it's when she drove. That wasn't just me, that was the guards, the team being able to get them to go downhill because we didn't want to give up any threes. So she drove. We knew that that's not her first look. So I felt comfortable being able to step over and help because I knew that I had a teammate stepping over and get in front of mine. So when you play that kind of defense, it's easier to be able to help others and go for things a little bit more because you know that your teammates got your back. So I think both the other one might have been a deflection. I knew that I had help coming from the other side and that the girl I was guarding was more focused on that, so I was able to step around a little bit more. So it's just the team's like when the team works together the way we were working together, it makes it so I can get those stops.
That's music to my ears, just listening to her talk about the strategy and down the stretch, knowing they're in it real time. Our staff does a phenomenal job. We had 3 fouls to give, so we knew that, right? We knew we had the possession arrow. So these are things that the team knows. We communicate effectively. So they're in the game real time. We have 1 timeout. We have 2 timeouts. Whatever we're doing, we're going to advance the ball. So we are always communicating with the players so they know what's going on real time. So it just makes sense.
To you all that were on the floor, well, Coach, I know you were playing defense, but for us broadcasters, it felt like March. Yeah. It felt like a tournament game to us watching. How did it feel to you players?
I just think, we gotta play our best basketball every time we got opportunity to play. And we've been saying we need to protect home court. So I think every time we play at home, we gotta give our best, regardless if it's home or not, but we gotta give our best. And we need to win. So we're gonna do everything we can to win, regardless who we're playing. We gotta give our best effort and just go for it.
You guys have come a long way since you played Arizona in December. How much confidence do you have now going to Tucson?
Well, I think it's confidence from experience. When we talk about a new group, this is a group that's just gelling, and I think that confidence going into our next game, regardless of who it is just based on where we are as a team. I think, for us to have 5 players in double figures, it shows the offense, right? The continuity of the offense, the trust within it defensively, being able to, in a close game in our conference, get the stops that we need to get, make the free throws down the stretch. So it's not a matter of the school down south. I think it's more about who we are and how we're growing as a team to face any opponent, whoever's next.
Well, you heard it right there again. Heck of a win against them, and just like the girls were saying. And I asked, that's why and again, not just highlighting my question, but I love Jeff Metcalf's question there about obviously it is a revenge game against that team down south Sunday. So say it for what it is, but talk more about that as we get closer. But you heard it right there. I mean, look, it is a tough loss. You get beat by 30. Yes, some of the best medicine is to just get back on the court and wash that game from your system. Yes, you played Stanford, who is, tops in the Pac-12, obviously, but the number 4 team in the country. So, yeah, Stanford's 4. This is insane, by the way. Side note, real quick. Again, rankings came out yesterday or Sunday night yesterday. But Stanford's the number 4 team in the country. Colorado is the number 6 team in the country. UCLA did lose to Washington State. They fell a few spots, but UCLA is the 7th ranked team in the country. USC is the 15th ranked team in the country. Oregon State, who beat Utah, jumped up from 25 to 18. Oregon State is the 18th ranked team in the country. Utah dropped 2 spots. They are the 20th ranked team they dropped 5 spots, 4 or 5 spots. But nonetheless, so we have 4, 6, 7, 15, 18, and 20. Yes, half the conference is ranked on the women's side. There'll be at least those 6 teams, and then you have Washington State, Washington, and even Cal. I mean, struggling a little bit conference wise, but even Cal right there. So this is a conference that's not just going to have the 6 ranked teams. Could easily have 8 teams in the women's tournament. So yes, happy hunting to the tournament in this conference, because you get a conference win. Yes, you definitely should savor it. No, and it's not just a silver lining for ASU, just straight up facts. Because it's tough to go into a weekend game now without playing at least one ranked team. So yeah, just absolutely phenomenal. Big fan of that. But yeah, you heard it right there. I mean, that's why I asked, getting to the rim. I mean, Jaden Simmons, again, point guard. And yes, there are quite a few others that can handle the ball, kind of, I guess you could say Aleve Simmons, not that she needs it, not saying that at all, but both her and Izzy Sousa, that's why I asked. I mean, just get downhill, because Cal's going on runs, and yeah, they weren't just. I mean, look, they were moving the ball. The offense was moving, and you want to keep that flow going. And when you build leads, obviously, that helps a ton, especially when you have a player from Cal that shoots 60% from the 3-point line, 6 for 10. And it's a team that will chuck threes. And you hear coach run them off the 3-point line. But if they started to get on runs, they had to get downhill. And that's what I love to see, especially from Jaden Simmons. Had some beautiful layups, just some beautiful shots underneath the basket. And yeah, I was like, just keep it going to the hoop, draw some fouls. But yeah, Cal did go on a run, and they knew they'd have to probably at some point withstand it. And they did. So, again, looking forward to the game on Sunday. We'll talk more about it as the week goes on. Going to step aside real quick, but then we will shift gears to baseball. We will get to meet one of the transfers, an outfield transfer that has come in. So stick with me, and we'll be back right after this. And welcome back to Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, I am Michael Caracino at Diablo00 on X, the artist formerly known as Twitter. As we roll on here, and yes, heard a little bit from women's hoops there after their awesome win against Cal, bouncing back from a tough loss against Stanford. But now, like I said, we will shift gears as baseball. Again, some more definitely guys returning, but we have newcomers to Sun Devil baseball on a team that's looking to improve from last year that, again, had a very, very solid season. Again, got off to a good start, a little bumpy in non-conference, but kind of worked it out, got into conference play, and just started off like gangbusters. Flew out of the gates for Willie Bloomquist. And yeah, I mean, towards the end, there was a little, they had tough games. Obviously, a 3-game series against Stanford, which again, they, all those games were like 2-run games. So, and with what Stanford obviously was able to do last year, that's huge. But again, lost quite a few arms to the draft, as we know, and some players to the transfer portal, but was able to snag quite a few players from the transfer portal. Oops, wrong button there. My bad. Snag a few players from the transfer portal as well. And speaking of that, he was able to bring in Harris Williams, who is from Colorado, but was at San Francisco. And a young man offensively, plays the outfield, but offensively, the redshirt senior, again, you can see him definitely in that leadoff role. So, yeah. But, he's just obviously excited about the upcoming season being here. And without further ado, let's meet Harris Williams, the redshirt senior outfielder that transferred from San Francisco.
I feel like maybe some of those, your personal attributes could maybe help the team goals.
Yeah, I've worked with the defensive coaches a lot about learning the field. This field plays a lot faster than what I've played in the past, so that's been really helpful. And then, honestly, this is one of the first years where I've had a really well-identified role as a guy who puts the ball in play and runs well. And I have a lot of trust in my teammates that if I can get on, then my teammates will score me. And I also have a lot of faith that if it's not my day that day, that I have 8 guys behind me who are really, really plus offensive players.
This appears to be a really deep offensive lineup. So what do you kind of see so far, and what are some of the guys saying about the offensive lineup so far?
What we've been saying is the coach is going to have a really, really hard time writing that lineup every day. There's a lot of guys that can pull through in big situations. We have a lot of experience in that aspect where late in the game, if we need a pinch hit at bat, there's 10 guys off the bench who can perform in that scenario. There's also, whoever they roll out in that starting 9 has a chance to put up 7 or 8 runs a game. So, the issue isn't really our depth by any means. The issue is how many runs we're going to score that day, and the answer to that is probably going to be a lot.
Harris, considering how different probably your role was in San Francisco to now, what has been just the drastic difference from between clubhouses, coaching staffs? What do you think has been just the biggest difference?
The expected level of play here is a lot higher. Coming from a mid-major school, we always had, dreams of going to a regional, dreams of winning the conference tournament, and here it feels more real, for sure. And I'm really grateful to my prior coaches and my prior teammates because, they've really helped mold me into what I am today. And now I just get to really live the reality of having a chance of going far into the college World Series, which is every kid's dream.
You had a great offensive season last year. Is there necessarily any tweaks you feel like you need to make individually to your game that need to necessarily be different, or do you just feel like that game plan was just so great individually last year that you just need to feel like you just need to stay consistent carrying that over?
Consistency is great, but I always feel like I need to do more, or there's always something that I can do better, and that's something I'm really grateful for the coaching staff here is they've really helped me fine-tune the minute details of my game and make me a better player. No one's perfect, even in the big leagues. There's guys constantly working on stuff, and I'm no different.
How much, you said having a defined role, but knowing your defined role from a comfort standpoint, even like you said from an offensive standpoint, how I hate to use the word easy, but mentally, how much easier is it for you to prepare knowing that you have that defined role?
It's easier to prepare because I know what I need to work on every day. I have a set thing that I want to work on. I want to keep the ball out of the air, especially to the backside of the field. I want to make sure I'm putting the baseball in play at a super high rate because I run well. That's kind of my tool, and so I also just know that if I'm on base, I can get my offense RBIs. I can create more opportunities for the rest of my offense to perform at its highest level.
How do you kind of see the middle infield kind of shaking out, or state field in general? How do you feel like it's going to shake out lineup-wise?
Lineup-wise, it's tough, man. I mean, you got an experienced guy in Ondina, really plus athlete, good arm, good glove, and then now you've got Jax Ryan, who's really, he's come to play. He's come to play baseball here, and I have a lot of respect for him. He hasn't backed down even an inch. He hasn't given up on that role by any means, even being a young guy, playing right now behind an older guy. But I think Jax Ryan gets a shot this year, and it's one of those deals where iron sharpens iron. They're both going to make each other a lot better, and that's what I'm excited to see. And as for second base, you've got two older guys right now battling it out between Kevin Carstetter and Mario DeMera, and I'd hate to be the coach in that situation. And then now you've got Ethan Mendoza, who could be a really impactful player for us. So it's a puzzle. It's a puzzle, and it's a little above my pay grade to try to solve it.
I like that from Harris Williams, right there, a little bit above his pay grade. And look, I mean, he mentioned it right there, and that's why I was saying it. Like Willie Bloomquist, like filling out the lineup every day. And yes, every college coach, can say that, but would love to have that problem. And yeah, if it's not somebody's day, somebody can come in, like he said, off the bench and pinch hit, and just be ready to go. But defensively, I mean, yes, that's one thing last year. I mean, from the year before, they were talking about shoring up the defense. And I mean, again, not that it was terrible from the year before, I'm just saying, but like last year, again, defensively, it's a team that, definitely was there. And it definitely helps to have Ryan Campos again back behind the plate as well. And we saw obviously before he went back behind the plate when he was coming back from injuries, able to play in the outfield, pinch hit. So look, it's you want that stability, of course, behind the plate. I know, obviously pitching with the staff, and there might be some days where you get a different catcher, maybe Campos is just be your pinch hitter again, but having these options, and from what I've seen in the fall, minus the costume, although some of them did hit really well in their costumes. But all kidding aside, like it's going to be exciting for Coach Bloomquist, and I, again, big fan, big fan. Real quick though, before we get out of here, just want to show everybody the schedule for next year for ASU football. And of course, why would I be able to show it? Well, well, I'll tell it to you and I'll put it up. I'll show it tomorrow. So next year's schedule is out, and so they open up with Wyoming on August 31st, do the Devils at home, and then they are at home for Mississippi State on September 7th, and then September 14th they head to they are at Texas State. That is September 14th. That will be their first road game. And then September 21st, they go back to the state of Texas. They start conference play, which is so weird to say. Yes, still weird to say, even though, yes, I've had quite a bit of time to prepare for it. But they start conference play in Lubbock at Texas Tech. And that is September 21st. Then they have a bye. They have a bye, and then October 5th, they host Kansas. And then October 11th, they are home against Utah. So the Utes come into town again. And then October 19th, they head out to Cincinnati to take on the Bearcats. And then they have another bye. That's crazy. There's 2 byes. Because then November 2nd, it's October 19th, but then November 2nd, they are at Oklahoma State. They go to Stillwater, which now these schools have played each other the last 3 years in a row. It's almost like they were conference mates, because we had the non-conference game at Oklahoma State, and then they came here this past season. And then now we go there next year. So at Oklahoma State, November 2nd. November 9th, UCF comes to town. UCF comes to town November 9th. And then November 16th, they are at Kansas State. And then November 23rd, BYU is here. And then they go down to that school down south, November 30th, to get the Territorial Cup back in Tempe, baby. So yes, I will. I shall post. I shall post, and you will see. But that is the overall schedule. So again, it starts off at home against Wyoming, ends up on the road at Arizona. But yeah, Mississippi State coming to town. So yeah, you want to make waves early, and an SEC team, blah blah blah, right? Well, we'll see. We'll see. They got some work to do, but it is very exciting. As we met some newcomers, we'll still meet some more newcomers. Have that there, but want to meet baseball as well. Spring getting going too. So that is the Sun Devils schedule. But on that note, boys and girls, I am going to get out of here. That is all for today's show. The Century Club is in the books. The 100th episode is in the books. And yeah, very excited. So again, got to go over a lot. But again, you can see the show live at Diablo00 on X, artist formerly known as Twitter. You can follow me there as well. My Instagram, Michael.Caratenuto.5 on IG, goes out live there. And the YouTube channel. Guys, if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, the sound you've missed, the interviews you've missed, getting to know coaches, players, all that good stuff, you've missed it. But hey, that's why I got you covered. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Cat, 005 on YouTube, at MVC005 on YouTube. Subscribe. So yeah, I will see you tomorrow. I have a picture. We'll get a way to get the picture of the football schedule up, but we'll also preview men's hoops and talk about that, and hockey. Obviously, hockey this weekend again, back at Mullet Arena, and this team again, 17 wins, nice little break, and now they get to go see if they can go on a little bit more of a tear, because not being in a conference. We were talking about that at baseball too. Side note, real quick, quite a few of us were talking. If they get to 25 wins, man, if they win 8 out of 10, I'm sorry. Yes, I got to look and see other teams and if you're in a conference, but you get to 25 wins with the level of competition that they have played. I'm sorry. It has nothing to do with being a homer show, whatever you want to say. It's nothing to do with that. They need to be an at-large bid, and I think 25 wins should cruise them in. They have to work hard. Again, they're not cruising it by any means. So, but you get to 25. I mean, you get 23, 24, 25. That's huge. You go, anywhere from 6-4 to 8-2 in your last 10, or crazily you go 9-1 or 10-0. Yeah, they do that. There is no way that they're not in, because if so, yes, I would be able to find a team to take out. And but again, that's why we play the games. Got a little bit of a road to deal with that. So anyway, have a great rest of your Tuesday. I will see you tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel here on Pitchfork Lunch. And yes, at Pitchfork Lunchers, as always, have a wonderful day. But yes, forks up.
Now lead. They're getting a little wobbly.
Justin Chapman rebound. Robbie Ryan for three. She hits it, and we are tied.
Terry's three. Johnny Walker. Matching up against control. His shot. Bruce score, they score. They tie the game up 2-2. Some drives out for Robbie Ryan. Her three right on the money. This is Taya Hansen for three. Other side of the rim with a pretty reverse. Wow. 5 seconds.